All right, had a chance to talk to Mr. Abel Lugo while he was at DBU. We talked during a break between classes. Found our conversation to be really interesting, and I hope you all find the conversation to be interesting as well. Can you introduce yourself and share a bit about your background in law enforcement?
My name is Abel Lugo. Born and raised in Garland, Texas. I'm currently a police officer in the Collin County area. Been an officer for the state, a peace officer for the state of Texas for a year and a half now, I would say.
Okay. And you grew up where now?
Garland.
Okay. What inspired you to pursue a career in policing? And how did you get started?
What made me get into law enforcement just because coming from immigrant parents, they always told me to have a good career, have a good job, be something, and I was always enthused by law enforcement, especially coming from back in the late 90s and early 2000s. I mean, it's a very important topic. Some immigrants are scared of the police, and
yes,
and I always saw it as the opposite. I saw it was a help and being there for people that needed help, and that was sort of my calling, being there for people that need help when they're most vulnerable times. And so after college, it was more of okay, I can do this.
Okay, great. Can you describe a particularly challenging case or situation you've encountered during your job?
One that I can have on top of my head right now was back in August, before school started. There was a kid who wanted to commit suicide by he pretty much wanted to overdose by taking those M30 pills, the fentanyl pills. Came out as a major disturbance to get there. It's a 14-year-old kid that he was just upset about his sister being arrested, and he couldn't do nothing about it. And so he had those thoughts about just ending it by it, and him wants to take those pills, because those are deadly pills nowadays. You see them on the news and everywhere.
Yes.
Just counterfeit M30 pills, and I remember him. We took him away. We took those pills away from him, and I talked to him like one-on-one, saying, what's the issue? I get it that you can't take your sister out of the jail and bail her out just because 14, but
yeah.
I told him like you'd rather be a freshman next year in school, and you still have a whole life ahead of you. And I remember telling him, his parents, pretty sure they work hard. They work hard and for him to have a better life. And it was just a one-on-one moment to a point where I remember him hugging me, thanking me.
Wow.
And so, just because, it could have been a whole different situation. Let's say if he didn't get there, or his parents didn't call, or he didn't get caught with those pills.
Yeah.
And I remember him like, you have school tomorrow.
So you impacted his life positively.
I feel that, I feel like I did, just because of just the interaction where it wasn't one of those, okay, go with your parents, bye now. It was, hey, let's talk.
Yeah.
I'm here all day. I'm here all night. I remember that shift, and it was like the first call of the shift, and I remember I felt some type of way just knowing that, I'm not really much of a. Some people don't like to hug police.
Yes, exactly.
Especially, kids are like just sometimes can be just in trouble. But I know that I kind of talked to him one-on-one and got to know him a little bit more.
Excellent. How do you handle the emotional toll that comes with being a police officer?
It's important to manage it, knowing that when it comes to with emotions, I know that it's temporary. I know there's help out there. If me or another officer needs to talk to somebody. I've been in many emotional situations, whether it was a bad day at work, being yelled by a trainer. Or going to a call. Unfortunately, I've been to some calls where deaths are involved, and I'm just like, wow, like just coming home. That drive home is just, it's a tough one, and knowing that you still got to go on because there'll be a next shift or you have to go to the next shift or the next day or next day to work.
Absolutely.
And it goes back to again, like I know that if ever I'm in the future in need of talk to somebody who need help, I know it's out there, and I know that might be another day where just my emotions will hit just of a call or in a situation at work, and it's for officers, it's the best to just handle yourself, because knowing that you still have a whole shift ahead, or or controlling a scene while like, hey, a lot of things are going on, and the last thing is like, try to keep it still, keep focused, and keep going.
What skills do you believe are essential for someone entering into the field of law enforcement?
Be competence, communication skills, motor skills.
Okay.
Multitask.
Yes.
Those are things that I would say, just because you have to communicate a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate on the radio. You communicate with peers, with peers and coworkers
mm-hmm.
and other partners and officers, with the people, because there'll be times too where people are gonna come screaming at you and trying to tell them the whole story,
mm-hmm.
when you're trying to just focus on what the situation is. There'll be times too where some people they don't want to speak that much or don't get very detailed, so you have to communicate more on get that information going to a call. Something that I struggled with at first was communication. I felt like a robot.
Wow.
It took a while to get that natural limbo and try to
get into your own rhythm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that it's to this day I feel like sometimes I get told, hey, you sound like kind of like a robot, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's like a little just me, and I like to tell, I'm human too, so at the same time you have to keep a standard professionalism. We just can't talk how we talk at home sometimes.
Yeah.
But just communication skill will be, in my opinion, the top skill that to do this job. Just
okay.
learn how to talk.
Yeah.
Much.
How has technology changed the way you approach policing? I mean, because we've talked about all of the new stuff you guys have, the gadgets and everything.
And I came at a good time, just because I hear from officers who did this job back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, where mm-hmm. they don't have the same technology as I did when I started. Now, the squad car has a map on the stereo, on the touchscreen. I am
jealous.
Compared to MapScope is what they would call it.
Exactly,
Or same thing, the radios were these big old bulky bricks, and now they're just so wireless.
Yeah.
You got body cams, you got in-car cams, so you can get more better footage of an incident or a call for service or a traffic stop.
Yeah.
Our CAS system tells you, it gives you like a GPS route to it. With
to
call
each
notes,
call.
Updated call notes every second by the dispatcher. License plate readers, you can read if a plate's been stolen or not. You can read the registration off of it just by scanning it. Ticket writers. I know some places still use paper tickets, but now it's like it's on the phone or a
I do feel like
device.
a dinosaur now. Yeah. Oh man! And then you were telling the class, because you're here at DBU, at Dallas Baptist University, you were telling my earlier class, now even when you unholster, right, or when you holster, your body camera,
right,
is activated.
Yeah, with Axon's, it's not sponsored by Axon, but with Axon, with Axon, their holster for their taser, for their firearm, for a body cam, it's all linked into one. So it even activates the other officers or the other squad cars in the area, or when you turn your lights and blues on, it's just an automatic to a point where you don't have to forget about turning on body cam because it's there ready for.
Wow, yeah.
And it's easy to access because everything's linked up to the app. So now you can just upload a review while on scene or anything that if you need to go back and review body cam. Yeah. It's right then and there.
Interesting. Can you speak to the importance of ethics and integrity in law enforcement?
Oh, of course. I know integrity is, always doing the right thing even when no one's watching. It's always something that's been stuck into my head since a child. It's something you always hear from school to life. With ethics, it's just a profession that an officer has to carry. We might be, even though there's no one above nobody, but we do have that standard.
Yes.
Because we're watched, we're there all the time for anybody who needs help, and we're all the place. And I always say, even when it comes to appearance, how a scene or a call is handled by an officer, it says a lot.
Yes.
Because you're representing a department, you're representing a city. You can go on and on with this.
Yeah. But it's an important thing.
It's a reputation too at the same time. Knowing that it's when you want to get positive feedback. Okay, this officer knows is professional. Treats everybody the same, or compared to one just causing issues or just being an issue that needs to be addressed. It's a difference in every officer is different, but I feel like if every officer is different, at least have the same professionalism along everybody, just like that's a standard.
How do you engage with youth in the community you serve And how do you foster those positive relationships? Because you're a young guy. I mean, and I know you see other younger people, younger than you, that look at you and they, maybe they see a reflection of themselves in you, or what they could be.
Of course, yeah. With youth, I mean, I was very intrigued with law enforcement, seeing the police officers as a kid myself, and I was like, I want to do that one day. I want to be like that, and just approaching them, and and every officer that I had a good experience as a child encountering a police officer.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to do the same when I approach with kids, whether it's on the streets when they're playing ball and I give them a sticker, or when they're unfortunately involved in a domestic issue and I have to kind of pull them to the side and tell them everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
There's been many of those, unfortunately, or going to a call and there'll be times where I gotta talk to them. That's the case, but I always try to leave a good impact towards a child or a juvenile.
How do you envision the future of law enforcement evolving over the next 10 years, the next decade?
I feel like it still will be more transparent as how it is. Knowing how I noticed that maybe after the 2010s that the police has become more transparent, knowing what the technology we have and the things we're engaged with. I don't see it changing negatively. So we still, because we're human, and there's some officers that make mistakes and me personally, I see it as okay. I don't want them like I want to just prevent some things like that. I want to ingress and be a better image, like and show that standard.
Now we're starting to see more positive interaction with police on those Instagram reels and those YouTube reels, where we're seeing that they're doing some good things too, right? Right.
Yeah. And this is saying that I heard from another officer. The police department is hired from the human race. We're not robots.
Exactly.
So there'll be times too where we're humans too. We're humans too. We like to engage in all types of things.
Yeah.
So I feel like knowing that, with that being said about us being humans, I mean, they can engage to more letting future police and say, hey, you have to. It's good to be squared away, but we're human too. This is a job just like any other.
Exactly.
It's a different job, but it's like.
Yes.
Just I'm no more than you. I mean, you can have the same job I have if you meet the standards.
And that's important. You have to meet the standard.
So I feel like it'd be with that being said, with more engaged and people seeing police officers just not negative, it can encourage more people to become police officers.
Yes. Okay. Good.
And knowing with the demand of cities here in the DFW, they're growing.
Yes.
I work at a city where it's growing, so we're gonna need more future police officers in that area and like any other areas in DFW, especially with Texas being a high. The employment rate is going high. People moving in here, and there's an opportunity.
That's a good thing.
In the DFW.
Yes. So I'm going to switch this up a little bit. How important is it to have role models for you when you think about policing and the future of policing? How important is that?
It's very important to have role models, just because they're the ones that I looked up to role models coming up in this career, even from talking to officers before I became an officer to officers during the academy to co-workers. There's a few I like to mention, like one would be Gilbert Padilla. I have a photo of me. He's holding me as a baby, and
I'm going to put that in this reel too. Yeah.
And so Gilbert Padilla, he was a DPD officer for many years, and I have a photo of him where he's holding me as a baby, and it took me 25 years to search for him. And thanks to my one of the instructors, Sergeant Simonson from Dallas College, she helped me come across him, and we met up for lunch, and it turned into dinner just because we were there for hours just catching up and talking about life. And I told him, I was like, if it wasn't for that photo, I wouldn't be much motivated, or because I saw that photo as a teenager, and I'd be like, to me that's my hero, and to meet him and have him on speed dial and come whenever and catch up and talk and call him during my worst times and my best times in this job is the best feeling. So when I can name a few. I have a lot of role models, would be for example, Professor Choyce.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Helping me out during the academy. Detective Dwayne Thompson. Sammy Hernandez, a former DPD officer. He's a good role model, good advice. Seasoned officer. Lieutenant Briggs. She gave me a chance at Dallas College.
Yes.
Captain Pena from Gun Barrel City. she saw something in me that many others didn't. So
and role models are really important now. That's a good thing. So you had a chance to meet my first class in Intro to Criminal Justice at this beautiful campus at Dallas Baptist University. What did you think of the campus when you came onto the property, and what did you think of the students? You had a couple that asked you some questions after class, and then you're seeing students that are young like you, and I'm thinking, okay, so they can relate well to him. What do you think of that, having been here and having to meet some of the students at Dallas Baptist University?
Well, first, it's a nice campus. I remember driving through here. I was just like, whoa, okay. Never been to this side of town before. And driving up the hill. I'm like, okay, it continues. I'm used to community college, it's not the same as a university. And just coming to the class, I saw when I walked into the class, I saw that I saw myself, because I remember being 19, 18 in intro criminal justice at Eastfield College when I went there.
Yeah.
And I remember talking. This DPD officer came to speak to us in a suit, just like I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow! But I didn't see myself. Maybe 5 years later, me doing the same, talking to a class, and me as the police officer. So it was a surreal moment.
Yeah.
And I just cannot get them motivated, because they're the future.
Absolutely.
They're the future. If they want to get in this career, they're the future. It doesn't matter if they want to become a police officer, a deputy, a Texas trooper, a state
forensic,
an
attorney. I mean, these people, they have an excellent opportunity here at this college, at this university, to really start their evolution to be what they want to be.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Mr. Abel Lugo, I want to say thank you for actually being here, having the opportunity to talk to my students. We're about to leave to go talk to the students at my Crime in America class, and I'm hoping you enjoy that experience too.
Oh, no. And like I said, thank you for having me here.
Okay.
Be right there. But,
yeah.
No, it's a surreal moment. I like to motivate. I hope that's what, I was always motivated coming up, so I do the same.
Excellent. All right. Mr. Abel Lugo, thank you.